That's a wrap on Money in the Bank 2024. Let's talk about it. Overall, I thought it was a great show. I did enjoy each and every single match, but allow me to say, and I'm not taking anything away from it, it was a little bit underwhelming. Maybe I had too high of expectations, but for me, Money in the Bank is such a special occasion. It's such an important pay-per-view, and it didn't maybe feel as important as I thought it should have ended. We kicked it off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and my prediction for that match was that Jey Uso was going to win, but if it wasn't Jey Uso, it was going to be Drew McIntyre, and guess what? Jey Uso was about to win and got costed by Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre won the match. I have a problem with that. We'll get to it later. The match was solid overall. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of cool spots. Andrade, I think, showed out. Carmelo showed that he can hang with the big dogs. Chad Gable had some crazy spots in there. LA Knight took some bumps. Drew McIntyre did his thing as Drew McIntyre did and eventually won the match. And that's where I have a kind of a problem with it, because where does that leave Jey Uso? He's got no involvement in any kind of title picture right now. I mean, he just had a match with Chad Gable on Raw. By the way, I'm recording this after Raw happened, so we know what has happened up until now. He just had a match with Chad Gable. He beat Chad Gable. Could they feud? Yes. Is it going to be a SummerSlam worthy feud? I'm not sure. I mean, they'll definitely have a banger match, but is the feud going to be worth SummerSlam? I don't know. There's no way he gets tossed in the triple threat with Gunther and Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not going to get tossed in the IC title picture. He's not going to go to SmackDown and fight for that title with Solo and Cody, because that's already a full story. There's no direction for Jey Uso unless it's Chad Gable at SummerSlam, and I just don't know. I mean, I guess I want it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean? We still have a few weeks here. Maybe the lead up's going to be worth it. Maybe he is going to get tossed in some kind of beef. But as it stands right now, Jey Uso probably won't have a match at SummerSlam, and that is beyond me. He's been left off of a few pay-per-views already, and he's losing all the big matches, and it's very annoying. Whether you like it or not, Jey Uso is the guy in the WWE to the WWE universe. To the fans, Jey Uso is all of the energy. When you watch Raw, yeah, there's some pops, yeah, there's some up and downs, but when Jey Uso comes out, that arena explodes like no other, and you have to acknowledge that, and I don't know why they're not giving him his flowers. I appreciate him being in some of these matches and having a chance to be great, but he's not winning any of them. He's losing championship matches. He's losing qualifying matches. I don't know. I don't understand. So that really bothered me, because especially that after Drew McIntyre won the Money in the Bank briefcase, he cashed it in and lost. We'll get to that later, but that made me even more mad, because you wasted the Money in the Bank briefcase, and now you got Jey Uso without a path. You got Chad Gable, who was on a path. You thought maybe he was going to win the IC title, and now they're going to throw him in the Uncle Howdy feud, which is great for Uncle Howdy, but not so great for Chad Gable, who I think is ready for a championship reign, or at least to stay in the picture. And it's such a weird environment right now. I'm not concerned with LA Knight. He's going to have a match at SummerSlam with Logan Paul. We kind of all know that. So him not winning, it's all good. Actually, let's talk about it. So when Drew won the Money in the Bank briefcase, he cashed it in later that night and got costed by CM Punk. Now, I understand it helps build that bad blood in their storyline, but their storyline was already ready for SummerSlam, in my opinion. They already screwed each other over so many times at this point. We get it. They hate each other. Promos and some other little interferences could be great, but why are we wasting the Money in the Bank briefcase that holds all the power in the world? Why are we wasting such a big opportunity to elevate another star? I don't understand. And one last thing, there was zero interference, and not that I wanted interference, but I thought it could have been fun. We thought Uncle Howdy was going to get Chad. We thought the Bloodline might get Jey Uso. We thought CM Punk was going to cost Drew. We thought Logan Paul was going to cost LA Knight. There was none of that. Not one. I was thinking maybe one out of those four options. I don't know. Maybe they should have. Maybe Uncle Howdy just a little bit. It is what it is. Let's move on. We had the IC title match with Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker. And although it was a fun match, an enjoyable match, Sami does great work in the ring. I think Bron Breakker is becoming better and better with every match he has, and he showed how cool and smooth he was in this match. I feel like he was calm and collected. I didn't enjoy the way it ended. I don't think you beat Bron Breakker clean. I don't think Sami Zayn is like this guy that can beat a guy like this straight up. Like, not taking anything away from Sami Zayn. I enjoy Sami Zayn, but I'm saying, like, they're building this guy up. They're making him take people out. He's having crazy segments every week. He's pissed off. He's got all this momentum, and you make him lose clean. Like, you know, Sami Zayn's not Roman. He's not Cody. He's not Gunther. He's not like this huge guy that could just like beat anybody and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. I understand he's a champ and the great champ, but I think a clean win hurt Bron Breakker here. I would have rather him got DQ'd. Actually, I would have totally been okay with Bron getting DQ'd in this match, going crazy, getting DQ'd, really, really hurting Sami, and continuing their feud until SummerSlam. Whereas him losing clean and continuing the feud is like, I'm glad he's still in there, but why did he have to lose, you know? I know they're going to set up a feud for SummerSlam. We just saw on Monday night that feud isn't over, so I am happy that it's leading to a SummerSlam match where hopefully Bron Breakker does eventually get the dub, or Sami retains, or Ilya maybe gets a huge win. That'd be crazy. Because it does sound like we're getting a Fatal 4 or 5-way at SummerSlam with Sheamus, Ilya, maybe Bronson Reed gets thrown in there, maybe Ludwig Kaiser if he's ready. I don't know. So I went from upset to crying, because John Cena announced his retirement and his farewell tour for the 2025 year of WWE. As soon as I heard his music, I was like, oh no. Oh no. And then he walked out and I read his shirt immediately and he held up the towel and I just got goosebumps talking about that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I was overcome with emotion. I've talked about this many times. John Cena is my superhero. Growing up, I wanted to be like John Cena. I wanted to be the great guy that he is. I wanted to help the kids. I wanted to serve the people and have loyalty and hustle and respect. I wanted to be a role model. Like, I wanted to be John Cena. He had such an impact, such an influence on my life. And I knew he had to retire one day, but like, we didn't have to make it a thing, you know? Like, don't get me caught up in the emotions. This was very sad, and I hate that this day is here, but I'm going to appreciate it, and I'm going to try to make every single show that John Cena is going to be at, because that guy is my real-life superhero, and what he's done for me and what he's done for so many people around the world will never be forgotten, and he's leaving behind such a legacy and such a positive impact that, man, it's a beautiful thing. So, John Cena, I appreciate you, and I will be a part of your tour. Then we had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was stacked from the start. I thought all 6 of the contestants were great. Obviously, I know Zoey Stark for Dakota Kai would have been maybe a better swap there, but Zoey did fine, and all the women did fine. They did better than fine. They were amazing. So many incredible spots, unforgettable moments, and I honestly feel like they had a better match than the men did. There were so many moments that I can remember right now. The Chelsea Green table drop, the move that Io Sky did to Zoey Stark on the ladder, the move that Chelsea Green did to Naomi on the ladder. They were taking some bumps, they were wrestling, and they put on a dang show from the beginning to the end. I predicted Tiffany Stratton to win the match and was okay with Chelsea Green winning too, because Tiffany Stratton is already in the world title picture no matter what, briefcase or not. So if she lost, it wouldn't really have changed much for her, but this is huge. Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank. I was so happy about it. Shout out to Tiffy. It is Tiffy time, and I hope she has an incredible run because she deserves it. She is awesome, and every woman in that match was awesome. I honestly at some point was like, oh, maybe Tiffany doesn't win, or maybe Chelsea doesn't win. Io Sky looked very strong in that match. Lyra Valkyria also put on a banger match. She was doing great, man. She has honestly been so great as of late. But the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, to me, was match of the night. I thought from top to bottom, it was great. There was no dull moments. I enjoyed it. And they stole the show. Shout out to the women's Money in the Bank. Then we had the World Heavyweight Championship match with a returning Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. And I thought the two of them put on a banger. I thought Seth looked amazing. He didn't look injured at all, man. He was pulling off some moves that I was very scared about, but he looked great. And so did Damian Priest as usual. I think this was another great showing by Damian. People are starting to put respect on his name, but Damian has been delivering in every match and every feud he's been a part of in these last couple of months, and I am really enjoying his title reign. I really am. A lot of great spots in that match, and then of course with Seth Rollins about to win the match, little mishap occurred, and then Drew McIntyre came out and cashed the Money in the Bank briefcase like he said he would, officially making it a triple threat match with no rules, with no disqualifications. And so CM Punk came and interfered in the match and took out Drew McIntyre, hit him with the belt, absolutely choked him, destroyed him, and that was it. So with Damian Priest retaining in this match, we did not see a Judgment Day breakup, which is what I predicted. I thought that Damian Priest would have lost. I thought the Judgment Day would have been broken up. I thought Rhea Ripley would have returned. She ended up returning the next night on Raw. But all this happened, and Seth Rollins got screwed. Drew cashed in. CM Punk cost Drew. Damian retained, and Seth Rollins just took an L, even though he looked great. And I thought maybe he should have won that because I think him and Gunther would be amazing at SummerSlam. He just took the L and was left to dry. My issue with that is obviously I like Seth and I wanted him to be champion. No offense to Damian. I think Damian's great, like I mentioned. But where does that put Seth for SummerSlam? You can't have Seth Rollins missing SummerSlam, man. I just don't understand that. I guess they're teasing Seth Rollins being a part of this CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud, and it turns into a triple threat match, but it didn't need to turn into a triple threat match. Drew and CM Punk could have headlined the dang show and put on a banger and put on a brutal match. I don't know if Seth will be inserted to a triple threat for the World Heavyweight title, because I know him and Damian Priest had an agreement to not have that happen, but maybe, who knows? We have a couple weeks. I don't know. Is Seth Rollins going to get left off the card too? Him and Jey Uso are just going to be chilling somewhere, hanging out, watching SummerSlam? I can't see that happening. Although I will say that Seth is coming off an injury, and putting him in a triple threat match with CM Punk does kind of make sense because they're both coming off of injuries and they're both a little bit fragile at the moment, and not having them in singles matches does take some pressure off of them. So if we do see Seth inserted in a triple threat with Drew and CM Punk, it does kind of make sense. I just don't think it was necessary. It's going to be a banger, so I'm not upset, but what a weird outcome. What a weird outcome. Now let's talk of the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. I was right in my predictions that Roman Reigns wouldn't return. I was wrong in my predictions that Jimmy Uso would return, but it did end up leading to Bloodline winning, which I also said was possible if Jimmy Uso didn't come around, and he didn't, and they won, which was interesting. You had Solo Sikoa pin the Undisputed Championship in the center of the ring, and only a handful of people have done that since Cody's been champion, or actually at all since Cody's been in the WWE. So huge W for the Bloodline. I think a stipulation or the ref being down much longer would have been nice, or a Jimmy Uso interference, whether it was successful or not, would have been nice too. I don't know if I'm asking too much though. Jacob Fatu looked amazing. I don't think anyone's surprised. He looked incredible. Solo was Solo. He did his thing. I thought there were some really cool spots. Randy and Jacob Fatu had a couple moments. Kevin Owens and Jacob Fatu definitely had a lot of tension there. At the end of the day, the Bloodline won, and they needed to win that match because they have to be taken seriously. And how more serious can you be taken after you pin the Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes in the center of the ring? This is all setting up a Cody Rhodes Solo Sikoa match at SummerSlam, where I don't know if Cody retains. If they really want to build Solo, does Solo win? I could see that happening. I don't think that's crazy. I think that that's a possibility, and I don't know how it's going to happen, but Roman Reigns is definitely coming back at SummerSlam. Let's be real about it. I mean, I kind of don't like that it's a little obvious. I guess I hope I'm wrong, but Roman Reigns is coming back. It's just a matter of, is he going to come after the match? Is he going to attack Solo? Is he going to attack Cody? Is he going to attack both of them? He's not going to not attack Cody, by the way. I don't think he has like respect for Cody. I don't think that's the angle he's coming with. He's not coming as a babyface Roman Reigns. He is going to be a babyface to the fans, but he's not going to be slated as babyface. He is still the tribal chief. He is still Roman Reigns. He's just going to be on a mission to get back to the top. The match wasn't too memorable, but the end of it technically is. Cody Rhodes, again, losing to Solo Sikoa is very important and sets up a huge match at SummerSlam, which, I don't know. Maybe he can lose. Maybe it's possible. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought they missed out on a few things. They missed out on some interferences. They missed out on some returns. They missed out on some moments. But I do think that the women stole the show. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm indifferent. I really don't know how to feel. I'm not hating at all. I understand the business. I understand how things work. I just feel like I needed a little something more that I didn't really get. But John Cena, please don't retire. I appreciate you guys. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think.